Thank you very much. Good day, dear fellow Toastmasters. My name is Carlos Millones, and I have the pleasure and the privilege to be your sergeant at arms at this session. Welcome to the education session, Moments of Truth. Before we get started, I'm going to go over a few housekeeping items to ensure this meeting runs smoothly. Please ensure your microphone is muted unless called upon to speak. To maximize the learning experience, we hope you can keep your camera on. Please try to and be fully engaged with the sessions. To ask a question or contribute to the discussion, please use raise hand function. You can find it by clicking the participants icon and select raise hand. Please wait for the presenter to invite you to speak, at which time you will unmute yourself. When you're finished speaking, please mute your microphone and click over lower hand. At the end of the session, I will post the survey link in the chat box. Please provide your feedback to our presenters, so much needed. Any material the presenter wishes to share with you will be emailed to you after the session. The session will be recorded and shared on the District 21 YouTube channel. If you don't want to have your image shown on social media, you may turn off your camera. Thank you for your understanding with that. Welcome, Suzanne Rieger, to our discussion on Moments of Truth, part of the Successful Club series. This vital resource outlines how to create a positive first impression of your club and recognize and handle situations that are crucial to the club's success. Understanding these moments is essential for ensuring that every interaction, from a guest first visit to the experiences of long-term members, reflects the values and goals of our club. By mastering these moments, we can build a welcoming, effective, and thriving Toastmasters community. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our distinguished Toastmaster Suzanne Rieger.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be here this evening again. It's been a while since I've done some training, so I certainly appreciate your patience with everything, but I hope we're all here, including myself, to learn. Now, when we say the moments of truth, Carlos kind of hinted on a few things there. So Carlos, if you can watch the chat box for me. When you hear the words moments of truth, what does that mean to you? Especially if you're somebody new and you're not really familiar with that. What do you think moments of truth means to you as a member or as a guest? Either way. And if Carlos could read out some of the chats that come in, that'd be great.
I will, for sure.
So what do you guys think moments of truth means to you, either as a member or maybe as a guest? Nobody has any comments?
Finding out. Yeah, here. You want me to read them for you?
Yeah, go ahead, Carlos, go ahead.
Finding out something you didn't know about your club, being authentic and inclusive. In this context, giving clean impression of the values of the club, facing the realities of your club.
I actually love the last one, by the way. It's moments of truth is for us as members to understand what our club is doing and how healthy we are, because it's interesting how well we think our club is doing, but when we actually ask the right questions, we can find out where our areas of growth are. And that doesn't only appeal just for, like, honestly, just for us as members, but the first point of contact for your member or for a guest coming in is really a moment of truth for your club. So here's a definition, basically. A moment of truth is an episode where a person comes in contact with any aspect of the Toastmasters experience and forms an impression of a club's quality and service. So what do we say about that first impression? The first impression is a lasting impression. So it's very important that we go through and identify where there's potential issues and be honest. And I think that's one word that kind of came up. Honesty is really important. And we also want to encourage our members to be honest when we do a moments of truth. So Toastmaster moments of truth, like a couple things were mentioned, and these are just some of the highlights of what it would be. So when you do a moments of truth within your club, basically the topics will be the following: first impressions, and again, that's as a member or a guest, your member orientation, fellowship, variety and communication, program planning and meeting organization, membership strength, and achievement recognition. So first impressions. What is the first thing that people see when they walk into your meeting? And that can be virtually, that can be in person, that can be a hybrid club. And that is definitely, I know we still have a lot of challenges with hybrid clubs, but that first impression that people get when they're trying to come in through Zoom and people aren't set up properly in a room, it can take that opportunity to turn a guest into a member and push them out the door. So it is important to kind of nail down those first impressions. Now, first impressions again, let's talk about what would be some first impressions that we would want to make sure that we have as a club. And maybe see if we can throw some things into the chat there and Carlos can read that out. So what are some of the first impressions that we should have as a club when a member or a guest walks through the door?
Welcoming, members show up on time, welcome, nice, presentable location, friendly, supportive energy, people are valued, make the guest feel comfortable, creating a safe space.
Absolutely. Those are all really, really great. What's one of the things that we did in this meeting after we had somebody open the meeting? What did we have immediately before I spoke? What did we have? The Sergeant of Arms. That is the first impression, because they should be greeting people at the door. And if we don't have that first point of contact when people come through the door virtually or in person, if you are uncomfortable as a new member, as a member that's maybe not strong, or you're a guest, can you imagine how uncomfortable that would be? I love the fact that people talked about being comfortable, welcoming, friendly, a place where we can be safe, 100%. I want to talk a little bit about when I became a Toastmaster. It was September 2017. It's very lucky that I'm not off put from certain things, because I'm willing to kind of push through to see what happens. My first impression of the first club that I was ever a member of was I contacted them and they were almost hesitant to invite me to the meeting. How do you guys think that made me feel as a first impression of that club? Not very good, right? But I pushed through. And the great thing was that when I walked through the door and I was a guest, they were extremely welcoming. I was extremely comfortable. And that, thank goodness, is what turned me around to become a member of that club that night. Otherwise, if I'd have felt that same thing, I'd have gone on to a different club. And I felt Toastmasters is where I needed to learn. And so to lose that opportunity right away would have been a very bad thing, right? So membership orientation. That's probably I think where a lot of clubs, if they don't have a very strong VP of Ed, we'll call it, or whoever works in conjunction with mentoring new members, if we don't get our members started on the right foot, we are going to experience attrition. That's just the fact, because we can give them the great first impression, but if it doesn't continue to last, then we're not going to retain that member. That's just the reality. And obviously fellowship, variety, and communication, that goes down to, again, we talked about being welcoming and friendly and inviting, and the communication. Are people friendly to you? And is it true? Are we constantly in communication to make sure that things are running properly? Program planning and meeting organization. Again, that we can do everything right if we don't do a great meeting that's planned well and has a great, organization to that meeting. Again, there will be attrition, or we won't even have our guests convert. And our membership strength, who is strong, who needs lifting. And I think that's where the mentorship program is really important. And of course, what's the number one thing that we do in Toastmasters very well? Achievement recognition. So to fail our members by not recognizing their achievements means they're going to not feel as welcomed or as important to the club. And I think we all know that in life, we don't always get those recognitions. And the reality is that if we don't do it in Toastmasters, we may not get it anywhere else. And I love the fact that we can recognize people for doing, we don't want to call it small things, but big things for them, but things that move them forward. But it makes it so much fun to actually achieve things with them. And I think that's the important thing, is to make sure that we understand that recognition for achievement is really, really important. So again, we're going back to the first impressions. Again, Carlos, when he talked about what you guys had said, convenient meeting location, man, is that important. I can't even, it's way down the list there, but I'm telling you right now, one of the clubs I was in, we had a fantastic room. Free, by the way, with all the electronics and the screens and you could do a great presentation, but the door was always locked outside. You had to have somebody at the door continually. So if people come and there's a door locked, we changed meeting locations and our membership increased by 25%. So convenient meeting location is very, very important. And guests, or how are they invited? I mean, when we invite our guests to the club, how are they invited? Do people follow up? Do they make sure? And that's one thing I knew when I was the VP of membership. If I had a guest, I would say, I'm going to contact you again, and I would follow through. And fortune is in the follow-up. Always, guys. It doesn't matter whether they're there once, twice. Again, never let them go more than 3 times. Otherwise, your members are really, they've already paid to be there. So why should somebody else get to go for free? There's value in what we do in Toastmasters. So, but again, the officers should also be welcoming the guests when they come into, and as a matter of fact, they should be welcoming the members. That's the reality. And again, having a name tag is really cool as a guest. I remember getting my own name tag and people just kept saying your name. It felt pretty important. So I like the idea of the name tags and the guest book. Does anybody know why the guest book is important? Go ahead and put it in the chat. Does anybody know why the guest book is important?
Follow up. Contact information. Follow up information.
Exactly. It makes it so much easier when you get their name, their phone number, their email, because you can welcome them afterwards. If you didn't have an opportunity, let's say it was really busy in the meeting, you didn't have that opportunity to have that really one-on-one contact that you would like to have if you're the VP of membership or anybody on the executive that's strong. Even your members are strong enough to be able to talk. They should be able to talk to guests. If you get that, that is the key, because I know I'm virtual in the meeting. Everybody else is in person. So as the VP of membership, it was hard, but the guest book, I would get a screenshot of all the guests that attended so I could follow up. Like, so easy, but people don't do it. So that's a really great opportunity. And again, everything else we've kind of talked about. And, invite people. Invite people. And of course, membership orientation. I think what I see a lot of is you don't get the formal induction. Now, if there's anybody new here, does anybody know why a formal induction is, number 1, important, and number 2, should absolutely be done? Go ahead and throw it in the chat there, and let's see if we got the answer. Does anybody know? Oh, there we go.
Value our members, club bylaws, feeling of membership.
Yep, so those are all really good answers. Absolutely. First of all, yes, it is because they're a Toastmaster. We want to induct them in. Number 2, it is that it is important that we recognize these new members, again, because this is not what we all achieve every day. We don't all get a pat in the back and recognized in the front of the room or in a Zoom meeting. It just doesn't happen. So imagine if you continue to do this to your member, those feelings that they get. I remember being inducted and going, and I'm thinking, I don't need this. I was wrong. I needed it. And it's interesting when you see this. And of course, the pins, we used to do a lot of pins in the past. I know that not a lot of clubs are doing it because I know sometimes budget's an issue, but those pins, I've got every one of the ones that I've ever been given and the ones the district have sent to me. Those are important achievements. And even becoming a member is an important achievement. And again, I talked about the assignment of a mentor. And again, does anybody want to comment again on why a mentor is important when it comes to membership orientation? Why is a mentor important for our new members coming in? Anybody? Oh, there we
Answer
go.
questions for new members, answer questions. One-on-one coaching.
Exactly. Now, there's a difference between a mentor and a coach. Now, let me tell you about my experience. I'm a very assertive person, we will call me. Not scared of too much. The mentor that I was given was a mentor that was very equally matched with me, which was Caroline Sesser. She was like this with me. And you know what? I needed that. I needed somebody that was going to take me through the ropes and who within 2 weeks had me booked for my icebreaker speech. Within 2 weeks. And I had no idea. And she's like, no, do this, you'll be fine. And after receiving good mentorship, I can appreciate how to mentor other people as well and what they need. But you also, it's based on who they are. And you always want to make sure you assign the right mentor to the right new member so that they have that appropriate experience. And by George, if I didn't get Caroline Sesser, I am not sure I would be as successful right away in Toastmasters if it wasn't for being assigned the right mentor. So that's very, very important. And of course, we talked about the education programs and recognition system. I think that a lot of clubs, we're not a social club. We shouldn't be social clubs. We're all here to be educated and to learn, but have fun while doing it. And the recognition system is so good in Toastmasters. Why would we not want to spread that love around? Why would we not want to? Learning needs are assessed. Now, we want to discuss accommodations for members with disabilities. So what kind of disabilities has other people run up? And I'll talk about some of the people that I've ran into, but what kind of accommodations could be made for members with disabilities? Nobody?
Not yet.
No, that's okay.
I
So,
could say something, but I wouldn't be able to type it all in the chat.
well, go ahead, James. You can say something.
We have a frequent visiting member from Eastern Canada, a lady who has a disability. I don't think she had it all her life because she's been a member of Toastmasters for 28 years. And what she will do is if she participates in table topics and things like that, she will actually type it out in the chat.
Oh, there you go.
She does a lot of communication via the chat.
Yeah.
And she's not easy to understand when she speaks. So, but yeah, we're totally open to her, and it's awesome to have her in the club sometimes visiting.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. I think that we get enriched by people that are different from us. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, everybody is different from each other. And I think when we can learn to work with members who might have disabilities, it actually enriches us as well. So we can see how to think outside the box. And I know that one of the clubs that I was in, one of the people, I had no idea, by the way, until about a month in, that this person she was with CNIB. She was virtually like almost blind and you couldn't tell. It was amazing. But she would speak on it. And so it was really good. But we would see that people would help her up. And I'm like, oh, maybe I didn't know her. Maybe she's got something like, physically wrong. It turns out she can't see very well. But she did deliver very good speeches to us as members that allowed us to see the world through her eyes. And I thought that was a really good thing. And it's amazing how we have, people that have maybe learning disabilities, anything like that. This is what Toastmasters is all about, to enrich us both personally and professionally. We learn things in Toastmasters that we wouldn't learn naturally in a lot of work environments as well. And again, now to go on to the next one, speaking roles assigned. I'm telling you, my biggest beef in Toastmasters is when we let new members kind of slide for a while. We need to get people to get speaking. Doesn't matter whether that's their best speech they've ever done. Their first speech is that first one out of the gate. And I think that if we do people a disservice when we don't make sure that members are speaking, whether that be a new member or a member that's so close to finishing a level that I'm scared. No, don't be scared. Let me help you. Find somebody to help them, move them along. So let's make sure that we continue as members and as clubs to fulfill those speaking roles. We should have, depending on your setup, you should have around 3 speakers every time, sometimes 4 if you have the time. And I think when people try to just do table topics, that is a disservice to the members. And so make sure that the roles are assigned and completed. That's the biggest thing, and help them with pathways. And that's the mentoring there as well. And then member involved in club activities. How many activities do we do outside of Toastmasters that members go to? I can tell you of a few, but anything that you guys do outside of your clubs, or if you've not, would you like to do? I call it enrichment, by the way. So I don't see anybody speaking. So one of the things with First Canadian Toastmasters, which is the first Canadian/international club in Toastmasters, we like to get together for picnics or what have you. So I am planning in August to go from Alberta to fly to Victoria so I can actually see everybody in person, so we can just have a picnic and enjoy each other. And that's outside of our club activities. We'll have a meeting probably, but it's just something that, we're a group of people that really enjoy each other. And it's nice to see each other out of Zoom because it's a Zoom meeting. And we do club, fundraising. We do different little contests that are outside of the norm. It really enriches us as Toastmasters to make sure all members can be involved in club activities. So that's a big one for sure. So let's move on to fellowship, variety, and communication. Again, we've talked about this. When guests are greeted warmly, it's like a hug. We all need a hug, but it's like a hug. Now, Carlos, being the program quality director, understands why enjoyable educational meetings are important. So, Carlos, why wouldn't you say why you think they're important?
Because nothing satisfies anybody better than enjoying what they are doing. And we're working together, we are learning together, we are growing together. Camaraderie is a very important aspect in the learning process, even said by Toastmasters International's founder. Love it.
Absolutely, 100% agree. And you can see here it says regularly scheduled social events. That's outside of Toastmaster. It's, the club meetings themselves. Participation in area, district, and international events. Well, I am sure that Carlos and Virginia would love to be able to push this. I believe that the first thing I'll tell you about Toastmasters, if you are not brought into the club properly through mentoring and everything, you have no idea what area, district, and international events are. You're clueless. Because I remember saying, area, district, what the heck is that? And so I was explained very clearly what it is, and it allowed me to become more involved in the district. It was a lot of fun, and the district puts on some really great events. And international events, we've had people go right to the top when it comes to our international speaking contest. And we need to support our members that have worked so hard to get there. So it's a great opportunity to participate. And interclub events. Now, does anybody know what interclub events might be? We just had this happen to us about, I think it was about 3 months ago.
Involving other clubs, join
other clubs.
Each contest.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Banner stealing.
Yes, we had a banner raid. It was so much fun. It was so much fun. It forced us to go to their club. And it was in Langley. So a lot of the Abbotsford people had to go to Langley, and I attended virtually. so we could get our banner back. But what a lot of fun that was. And we've done that with Mission and other clubs. And man, does that ever create a lot of fellowship for us? And it's just a great way to meet people. And we have a lot of fun doing that stuff. And I think that clubs that kind of don't reach out and try find ways to, interact with other clubs, like you said, contests. Sometimes you have a small club, but you can then join another club and you can have 2 contests at the same time. We've done that, which is helpful as well. Club newsletter and or website updated regularly. I would say that most of us don't do that well. And it is tough. I will say it's tough. Can anybody put in there and says who has a club newsletter by chance? And what they put in it if they can. Anybody responding?
Not yet.
Wow. That's what I said. I think we fail there.
Working on it years ago, not our club.
Yep. I know for a fact, being the former public relations manager, how hard it is to do a newsletter. Now, I would, just for the sake of making it easy for clubs, I would use the district newsletter and attach a forward, even though they're going to get it, attach a forward with your club information that would go with the district information. Therefore, you've done a newsletter. It's a cheat, but it works because they're still getting the club information you need and you're getting the district information that you need. And so it's a good way to kind of get around that. And yes, you're okay. Now, updated regularly website. I'm going to tell you about a personal experience from the Knights of Abbotsford. We couldn't figure out why we weren't growing. We had great meetings, but we couldn't figure out why people weren't contacting us. And here's Abbotsford Sundown. They're a younger group. They're just killing it. They're getting tons of guests and things going on. And we're going, what is going on? Our link for the website wasn't working. For 6 months. So we lost traction in that club. We went from, originally it was 20 people, of course, when we chartered. We went down to 11 and we went down to 8. And then the scramble was on. We figured out the web updating on the website, and guess what happened? Membership went up, more guests came in. So yes, it's very important to make sure our website is updated. 100%. Sounds simple, but man, oh man, 6 months of not an updated website proved to be detrimental to the club. Program planning. Again, this is Carlos's area of expertise as well. The one thing, so who here gets an agenda in advance before the meeting? Does everybody get an agenda in advance? You know what's really good is if you forget what your role is, you get reminded in the agenda, especially when I'm busy, somebody like me, it's really good. What are other areas that people are contacted or how are they contacted to remind them that maybe there's a meeting coming up or another way that they could actually have meeting organization done? One that the district supports. How about that's where I'm going? Anybody think of what that is? The district will do this for you if you do things right. Anybody there? Can you see anything, Carlos?
Yeah, district calendar, WhatsApp and Messenger, or District 21 Facebook, Club Success Plan, Meetup, email,
Meetup,
chats, district calendar.
Yep. So you hit on the big one, guys. The district will actually support you in Meetup because Meetup is expensive. We know that the costs are not going down to run a club. What if you did everything right, but you didn't have a Meetup that allowed that internet connection as well? It's another way for people to connect with you. And Meetup is very successful if you use it effectively. And the district will actually support you with a Meetup club, if you sign a contract and your members are involved. So that is a very big thing, I think, for the Meetup. I honestly, from a district point of view, there's a cost. So Thanks to the district for continuing with that program, but to make sure that we use the program. But again, yes, Facebook is a great way to post your stuff, and then forward that Facebook to the District 21 so you keep that motion going. So yes, 100%. And all projects are from Pathways. Oh, I wish people would just get into Pathways more. Pathways is such a good program. I learned as a fairly experienced person when it comes to social media, I learned a ton of stuff in Pathways that I wouldn't have had an opportunity to unless I sought it out. But yeah, it's very important to make sure you do that. Meetings begin and end on time. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine if you were in a professional meeting, they're telling you it starts at 8 and it's ending at 9 and 9:20, you're still sitting there. Let me tell you about an experience. Bill Renault, he is one of our members. He is the general manager for Mystic Fireworks. He travels the world. And he was in Japan, I believe it was. And he was talking away, and then all of a sudden he lost track of time. And he cut into somebody else's presentation time. It didn't go well afterwards from a professional point of view, but it was a lesson well learned. And I think that's where we need to learn in meetings. You know what? They got to begin on time and they got to end on time. And that's why the general evaluators are a really good part of the meeting. Creative table topics, man, can we engage our members? Can anybody give some things about table topics that they've thought was really cool that they've done in their club? Any creative table topics that people have done or activities that are maybe people aren't familiar with? Anybody?
Yeah, they say themed around a meeting theme, using props. The role of timer is important. Have a round table topics where one person asks a question, then the next person poses a question.
Yeah, we actually just had one recently with First Canadian. It was, I want you to not answer the question, but learn how to deviate from the question you've been asked. That was tough because even if you knew the answer, you had to pretend you didn't know the answer. So you had to figure out how to deviate. So it was really, really good. So just make them creative. It makes things a lot more interesting for people. And of course, make sure positive and helpful evaluations. We're not there to, criticize our members. We're there to critique them and to help them grow. And a very well-rounded evaluation for the experienced members as well is extremely important. Pat Johnson will tell you, if you do not evaluate me and give me a point of growth, it has failed me. Everybody has a point of growth. There's nobody that's perfect. We've talked about this when not everybody was here. So make sure that we give positive feedback, but also an opportunity for growth. And if we don't do that, we're actually not helping the member. And so it's not a bad thing. For instance, people will say, you talk too fast. I'm aware, but it's still an opportunity for me to remember I talk too fast. And so it's a great point for me I love feedback. And I think that's one of the things we all need to learn is enjoy feedback. All right, membership strength. Toastmasters has come up with this. It's your 20 or more members. Members are retained that way when you get more. And they're all of the stuff we just talked about before this. Members are retained by everything before this and everything here as well. And promotion in the club's organization or community. Club programs are varied and exciting. Has anybody ever tried a backwards meeting? Backwards meetings are so hard, but it really challenges us, and they're a lot of fun because you have to come up with an evaluation and you didn't even hear somebody speak. So Toastmasters sponsoring new members are recognized, regular membership building programs. And again, that all comes back to the VP of membership working in conjunction with the VP of Ed and also with the rest of the executives to build membership. These are all things that are vital to our clubs. And then achievement recognition, man, making sure that we as our executive members and our members submit your stuff right away so that you can get the recognition. It does take some time for headquarters sometimes to get things back to us. And then make sure that you as a club have a progress chart. You know what a progress chart does? Does anybody know why a progress chart is important? Why is a progress chart important?
Motivates is one. It reminds us. Keep up with overachievers. Keeps you on
That might be me.
keeps you on schedule. Gives you time to reassess and revise. Can't manage what you're not measuring. You can't manage what you are not measuring.
Oh, great answer. That is I don't know who put that answer there, but great job. The other, like you said, trying to keep up with overachievers. It's actually in the game of sales. The reason why sales managers put a chart up and they track the progress is not because they need to know how many sales they've got. It's because they want to motivate the other people. And I think that's a huge way to be motivated. So that's definitely one. And of course, Club District International leaders recognize. We've got some big leaders here tonight. Again, we recognize our leaders because they work really hard for us. And our membership achievements, we talked about that, publicizing them, putting them on Facebook, you know, all that stuff. And then the DCP. Does everybody remember what the DCP is? Distinguished Club Program. It's used for planning and recognition for a reason. It also motivates us. So I'm just going to go a little quicker because we might run out of time. Okay. So does your club meet standards? What does your club do for first impressions? Membership orientation, fellowship, variety, and communication, program planning and meeting organization, membership strength, and achievement recognition. This sounds like a lot of work, but it really isn't. If we do all the right things the right way, all of this falls into place. Toastmasters lays it out there for us. It's our job to try to do it the way that the Toastmaster says to do it, because guess what? They do know something. They're a huge international organization with huge people that are behind us, that support us. And it's so good if we can meet the standards of Toastmasters, but also for you as a member. Doesn't it feel good to be a part of a club that has standards? And then when you go to another club, you want to hold them to that standard. That's what Moments of Truth is all about. The reality is that Moments of Truth is about making sure that when we have, call it the pipeline, okay? We all have this pipeline. And along the pipeline, we need to fill the leaks. Because if we notice that something's not happening, what happens? The end result doesn't happen because it's leaking out. And that's when we lose a member. Or we don't get a guest that signs up. Because we're not doing something to fill the leaks along the way. And Moments of Truth is an opportunity for you as a club to do this. Moments of Truth is actually fun when you do it in your club standard, in your club in a meeting. But Kristen Nichols also has a lovely Jeopardy one. And what we do at First Canadian is we take one question every meeting and we spin the wheel and we answer one question on the Jeopardy. So it engages us all the time as members because we know we're going to be tested. So we're on the ball. Again, you never get an opportunity to make a second chance. That's it. There's only one first impression. Make it so that it's in, you as a member deserve it. You as a guest coming in from a member deserve it, but your club deserves it. We all deserve to be in a club that has standards, achievements, great place to enjoy ourselves and make friends. We've made some great friends in Toastmasters. I've made some great friends. I know there's people in this meeting here I've known for years, and I would not be doing the things I'm doing outside of Toastmasters if it wasn't for Toastmasters, if it wasn't for those opportunities to have those impressions, to look at the club and say, where can I help to make things better? Most of all, when you do a Moments of Truth, be honest. don't let your club down by saying everything's great, because there's no such thing. No perfect club exists in Toastmasters, but we have an opportunity to be better. And when we take those opportunities to be better, we enrich the club, we make our areas better, we make our district better, and on the international level, we get noticed. And believe me, District 21 has put some people out there into the netherworld, we'll call it, of Toastmasters at the regional level, area, international. And District 21 is something to be proud of. So let's, as a club, as a member, or club, people inviting guests in, let's make sure we don't miss an opportunity to make that best first impression. And along the way, fill the leaks in our pipeline so that we can convert those guests into members, and we can lessen the attrition that we get with membership withdrawal. Once again, thank you very much for having me. I hope you got a little bit out of this so that when you go back to do a moments of truth in your club, that you too are going to be able to go, I'm going to be honest. And this is where I think we have a leak. And that way there's an opportunity to grow. Thank you very much. Back to you.
Thank you so very much. Please. I think that tonight we were enriched, and now it's my turn to get the gavel back to our education training chair, Tracy.
Thank you. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Suzanne. What a motivational speech tonight. I did take away several things, like welcome guests. It's only one chance to make first impression. We should welcome them and include them in our club. We grow together, and the new energy actually inspire us to do better every time. Thank you. Now I will open up the breakout room, invite you to join the sessions. For club officer training, the training is set to start at 7:50. You have about 5 minutes break. Now please joining the breakout rooms.
Tracy, I'm going to secret to treasure. Right? Okay. No problem. I'm moving. Right.
Treasure, help me to introduce Suzanne again.
Yep. I'm ready. No problem. Easy. Easy. No problem.
Virginia, would you like to join, or?
I'm going to have to leave. I'm
okay.
tearing away. I'd love to see everyone.
Yes.
Got a great crew tonight, Tracy. It's going to be a great evening. I'm sure.
Suzanne did really well. Yeah, in her talk.
A really super presentation, and I'm sure as well that all the trainings are going to be great too, as everybody takes part and helps each other.
Thank you. I hope you find time to celebrate your special moment.
Yeah, we're going to go have some ice cream cake.
Yeah, okay.
You take care.
Evening.
Okay. Good night. Bye.